If you like storytime vibes, hit subscribe and let's dive in together.
It was 9:37 p.m. when my phone lit up. A message from my wife, Emma. The girls need company tonight. Don't wait for me. At first, it didn't register. I was still hunched over my laptop, finishing a proposal that was due before midnight. My brain read the words, but my gut didn't like them. The girls need company. Emma never spoke like that. It sounded rehearsed, flirty, careless, like something you'd text to someone you wanted to impress, not your husband. My first instinct was to trust her. We'd been married 8 years, and while things hadn't been perfect lately, I still believed in what we had. She told me earlier that she was out with her coworkers for dinner, just some after-work drinks to celebrate a tough project. But this text, it felt off, the kind of off that makes your heartbeat skip. Not because you're paranoid, but because something deep in you already knows that your world is about to tilt and you can't stop it. I stared at the message a little longer. Then, without replying, I opened the location sharing app we'd both agreed to use for safety reasons. We'd barely ever checked it, but tonight I did. Her pin wasn't at the restaurant she mentioned. It was across town, in the upper district, inside a boutique hotel, the Haven Lounge. I knew that place, not because I'd been there, but because everyone in our city whispered about it. It was where people went when they didn't want to be seen. The kind of bar with soft jazz, expensive wine, and privacy booths meant for affairs, not friendship. My chest felt tight, not from rage, not yet, but from realization. I wanted to believe there was some explanation. Maybe her friends decided to move somewhere fancy. Maybe she lost her phone, and someone else was using it. But lies you tell yourself are the cruelest kind. I sat there for a few minutes, phone in hand, staring at the glowing map on my screen. The little blue dot that used to represent trust now looked like betrayal bleeding through pixels. Then I stood up, grabbed my keys, and left. Not in anger, not to fight, but to see. You see, the worst thing about betrayal isn't when it happens. It's when you know it's happening, and you still drive toward it, hoping you're wrong. The road to the Haven was almost empty, the kind of eerie quiet that makes your own thoughts sound louder than the engine. The city lights blurred past like streaks of accusation. I could still see her text glowing in my mind. Don't wait for me. I laughed once, not out of humor, but disbelief. For years, I'd been the dependable one, the man who kept things steady while she drifted through phases of boredom and self-reinvention, the one who forgave mood swings, who canceled nights out because Emma had a bad day. And now she was telling me not to wait for her. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. My reflection in the rearview mirror looked like a stranger, calm, but hollow. I wasn't angry yet. Anger would have meant I still cared enough to fight. What I felt instead was curiosity, a quiet, surgical need to see the truth, however ugly it was. When I pulled up across from the hotel, I turned off my headlights and let the car idle. The Haven Lounge glowed gold from within, warm and inviting, like a mouth that smiled while hiding teeth. Through the glass, laughter drifted into the night, muffled by music and expensive perfume. Then I saw her, Emma. She looked radiant, painfully so. A crimson dress I'd never seen, her hair falling just right, makeup flawless, the kind of effort she hadn't made for me in months. And across from her sat a man. At first, I couldn't place him, but when he leaned closer, light catching the side of his face, I froze. Aaron, my coworker, my subordinate, actually. I'd recommended him for his promotion. He'd smiled, shaken my hand, and thanked me for believing in him. Now, he was sitting there with my wife, their heads tilted close, laughter spilling between them like a secret language. Her hand brushed his and he didn't pull away. Neither did she. My throat felt dry. It wasn't the physical act that shattered me. It was the intimacy, the ease, the familiarity in her smile. She used to smile like that when we were new, when she still looked at me like I was enough. I raised my phone, hand trembling slightly, and took a photo through the windshield. The frame was perfect. The bar's amber light, their hands almost touching, the expression on her face, one of reckless happiness, a moment frozen forever. Then I typed 2 words and sent it to her. Recognize this? I didn't wait for her reply. I didn't need to. A few minutes later, the bar door burst open. Emma ran out barefoot, her heels clutched in one hand, panic painted across her face. She spotted my car immediately and sprinted toward it, tears streaking her makeup. I watched, emotionless, as she pounded on the window. "Jake, please!" "It's not what it looks like," she cried. I rolled the window down an inch. The cold air sliced between us. "In that dress? In a hotel bar? What's it supposed to look like?" Her lips trembled. "It was just drinks. He's been going through a breakup." I cut her off quietly. "Then why did you wear that for him?" She froze, and in that silence, everything between us collapsed. I rolled the window up and drove away, leaving her under the flickering streetlight, mascara bleeding like a confession. When I got home that night, I didn't break anything. No shouting, no throwing glasses, no punching walls. I just sat. The silence in our living room felt heavy, like it knew what happened before I did. Emma's laughter from the bar still echoed in my mind, blending with the hum of the refrigerator, a sick harmony of betrayal and normalcy. The picture I'd taken glowed faintly on my phone screen. I stared at it again, zooming in, not because I needed proof, but because I needed to feel it, to burn the truth into my memory so deeply that I would never fall for her smile again. Her hand hovering over his, her eyes soft, trusting, his expression smug, self-assured. 2 people sharing a secret I was never meant to see. For years, I'd built a life around trust, around patience, around giving the benefit of the doubt. I thought love was about forgiveness. Turns out, sometimes love is just how long you're willing to look the other way before the truth forces your eyes open. I put the phone down and walked to the bedroom. Her perfume lingered on the pillow, sweet, heavy, nauseating. That night, I didn't sleep. I just watched the ceiling until dawn, every memory replaying itself in my head like a cruel film reel. At 6 a.m., I started packing. Just a small suitcase. Essentials only. Clothes, laptop, toothbrush, charger. The act of folding each shirt felt mechanical, like I was packing away pieces of a life I didn't recognize anymore. When the sun rose, I heard the front door creak open. Emma. Her makeup was gone, eyes red, voice cracked from crying. "Jake," she whispered, stepping inside. "Please, let's talk." I didn't answer. She came closer, trembling, reaching for my arm. "I don't even know why I did it," she said. "It didn't mean anything. I just wanted attention." I looked at her, not with anger, but with something worse. Indifference. "Then you should have asked for mine instead of his." She flinched. Her lips quivered, but no words came out. I zipped the suitcase, brushed past her, and stopped at the doorway. "You'll regret this," she said softly, voice shaking. I looked back just once. "You already do." Then I left. The picture still sat on my phone, untouched, glowing like a wound I wasn't ready to close yet. But I wasn't done with it. Not yet. That picture would become something much bigger. The seed of quiet vengeance that neither of them would see coming. The first week after I left was chaos. For her, not for me. She called, she texted, she even showed up at my office once, mascara smeared, eyes swollen, begging to talk. I didn't let her in. I didn't even look up. "Mr. Carter, your wife is here," my receptionist whispered that day. I said calmly, "Tell her I'm in a meeting." And I was. Just not with anyone but myself. That's when the silence started to change. At first, it felt like grief, the kind that clings to your chest and whispers, "You've lost everything." But then something shifted. It wasn't grief anymore. It was clarity, the kind of clarity that comes when pain burns everything unnecessary away, and all that's left is purpose. I started thinking, not about her, but about them. Emma and Aaron. Two people who thought they could share a secret without consequence. I wasn't going to scream or stalk or post their photo online. No, that's what impulsive men do. I was done being impulsive. Revenge, I realized, is most satisfying when it's quiet, when the person who wronged you doesn't even know they're falling until they hit the ground. I knew Aaron's weaknesses. I'd trained him, mentored him, trusted him. He'd always been ambitious, a little too eager to climb higher, even if it meant stepping on people's backs. And Emma, she worked at the same marketing firm in HR. The two of them shared professional circles, reputations, and now a secret worth destroying. So I began gathering, not rage, not weapons, information, emails, meeting schedules, rumors from coworkers who loved to gossip. I pieced together their connection, their late meetings that ran long, their fake excuses that started weeks before that night at the Haven. The deeper I dug, the clearer the pattern became. And along the way, I discovered something beautiful, poetic even. Aaron had been applying for a director position in another branch, one I secretly had influence over, thanks to my senior role in the company. And Emma, she'd been listed as his reference. A smile finally crept across my face. It wasn't going to be dramatic. No confrontation, no shouting match, just a few carefully placed words, a few whispers in the right ears, and their world would unravel itself. For years, Emma called me too calm, said I never reacted enough. She was about to learn what calm could really do. Revenge isn't a storm. It's a slow leak, quiet, invisible, unstoppable. And mine began on a Monday morning. I walked into the office like any other day. Same suit, same calm face. But this time, I carried a folder that would change two lives forever. Aaron was in early, as usual. He greeted me with that fake politeness, the kind that only guilty men have. I could almost see the fear flicker behind his eyes. He didn't know what I'd seen, not yet, but he felt it. "Morning, Jake," he said, voice too careful. "Morning," I replied. My tone was neutral, professional. I wanted him comfortable. A meeting with upper management was scheduled that week, the same one where his promotion would be discussed, and as fate would have it, I was on the review board. When my turn came to speak, I presented my analysis. Facts, data, numbers, everything looked professional. But between those lines, I added carefully chosen words, concerns about personal conduct, possible HR conflict of interest, unverified reports of inappropriate relationships within the team. No names, no accusations, just smoke. Enough to make the board pause, enough to make them doubt. By the end of the week, Aaron's application was under reconsideration. He didn't get the promotion. He didn't even get an explanation. Meanwhile, I turned my attention to Emma. Her firm had a strict policy about personal involvement with employees from partner companies, especially if those relationships blurred professional boundaries. Lucky for me, I knew exactly how to make something surface without leaving fingerprints. I sent an anonymous tip, a short, polite message with the same photo I'd taken that night. No caption, no context. Just an image attached to an email from a freshly created account. The HR investigation was quiet, but swift. Emma was called in for questioning. She must have realized immediately where it came from, but she couldn't prove anything. Her tears didn't save her this time. 2 weeks later, she was asked to resign to preserve company image. Aaron, already struggling with whispers in the office, distanced himself from everyone. His performance tanked. His name faded from every promotion list. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. People love their own conclusions. They'll fill in blanks faster than you can write them. I just gave them the outline. When Emma texted me again, her messages were desperate. "You did this, didn't you? Please stop. You've made your point." But I hadn't. Not yet. Because revenge, to me, wasn't about ruining them. It was about reclaiming my peace. And peace doesn't come from noise. It comes when the people who hurt you finally have to sit alone in the silence they created. 3 months passed. Not a call, not a word, just silence. The kind that feels clean. I'd moved into a small apartment downtown. Nothing fancy, but peaceful. The kind of place where the night hum of traffic feels like company instead of noise. I'd started running again, sleeping again, living again. Sometimes peace comes not from forgiving someone, but from forgetting they exist. Then, one evening, I got a call from an old friend at work. His tone was casual, but there was a hint of amusement. "Hey Jake, you heard about Aaron?" I hadn't, and I didn't ask. He continued anyway. "Word is, HR launched a full audit. Turns out Aaron's been using company funds for the personal business trips. He's suspended pending investigation." I didn't react, just hummed. "That so?" He chuckled. "Man, karma's got good aim, huh?" After the call ended, I sat by the window with a cup of coffee, watching the city lights blink like stars fallen too low. Karma, huh? Maybe. Or maybe it was just the universe finishing what I started. As for Emma, the last I heard, she'd moved out of town, tried to restart her life somewhere quiet. But reputations travel fast, especially in professional circles. People remember whispers longer than names. A friend once said I should have confronted her face to face, gotten closure. But closure is overrated. The truth was enough. The silence afterward, that was my closure. One night, I opened my old phone gallery and found the picture, the one that had started it all. The bar lights, her red dress, his leaning smile, a frozen betrayal. For the first time, I didn't feel pain, just distance. I watched it for a moment, then pressed delete. The screen went blank, and I smiled. A clean slate. You see, the funny thing about revenge is, it's never really about them. It's about you. About taking back the part they stole. And I did. Not with fire or fury, but with quiet precision. Emma once told me I was too calm to be dangerous. She was wrong. Calm men are the ones who can watch the world burn and still keep their hands clean. And in that silence, sipping my coffee, with the city lights flickering below, I laughed once, softly, quietly, the kind of laugh that doesn't need witnesses, because by then, I didn't need anyone to recognize anything. They already did.